Yes. Yep.
And
Science.
and it came from who? I'm just curious.
It came from Rick.
Oh,
You know
and
what?
and
Actually, in the footage,
He set off on a mission in his heart, a heavy load. A lost chainsaw in the darkness, somewhere out on that wide road. A brave man in a spacesuit gazing at the starry sky. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. He left a loving family and the town he called his own. Departed through the cosmos where no earthly seeds are sown. In search of that elusive tool, he gave his life to try. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's cry, your name will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by. In the vast cold silent night, amidst those ancient stars, he drifts without an anchor. No more battles, wounds, or scars. His story known by every heart that ever wondered why. How the Space Corps goes orbiting by. He was born in Tennessee, a farming town so small. With the fields of green and autumn's leaves, he said goodbye to all. Now his tale is told in whispers, beneath the same old midnight sky. How the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's cry, your name will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's cry, your name will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by.
About 3.5 hours away in a small town, real small town called Vernon Downs, and there's a casino there. And North Carolina's going. I wasn't quite sure how they got.
He set off on a mission in his heart, a heavy load. A lost chainsaw in the darkness, somewhere out on that wide road. A brave man in a spacesuit gazing at the starry sky. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. He left a loving family and the town he called his own. Departed through the cosmos where no earthly seeds are sown. In search of that elusive tool, he gave his life to try. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's cry, your name will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by. In the vast cold silent night, amidst those ancient stars, he drifts without an anchor. No more battles.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Stoney coming to you live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. You know it's Friday night, so it must be a new episode of the Space Corps podcast every Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Central. Tell your friends, man. Like, subscribe, share the stuff, support the show. Of course, this could not be any bit possible with the help of our beautiful and lovely sponsors. The TCM Fanclub.com, baby. That is the end-all, be-all current Texas Chainsaw Massacre everything you'd ever want, including a super dope old school message board. So some of us older cats that predate the MySpace, Facebook, social media, we used to all get together on message boards and start to talk shit and share all photos and get together and do a bunch of cool stuff. So it's got that old nostalgic feel. Some cool newer little bells and whistles, though, to make you feel a little more at ease with the new stuff. But check it out. It's 100% free. You don't have to sign up. You don't need to log in. Just come and kick it, man. Show them some love. And, of course, if you like the show, you like what you see, and you want to support, or you just want to look really, really god dang good for that summer body that's coming up, shop.spacecorpspodcast.com. You get the podcast merch, Stoney's TCM stuff. You can even join the Space Cadet Army, baby. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited. We got such a dope guest in the TCM just universe that our co-producer Gilly had to hop in on this one tonight too. So ladies and gentlemen, tonight, not only do we have Mr. Brett Gilly, who is the TCM fan club, the new school one, we've got Mr. Tim Harden in the house, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre ultra fan, the godfather of the original fan club, and you're going to hear a lot of other things. Tim, Gilly, what's going on, guys?
Oh man!
Wow, that is quite an intro.
All right, must have been a good one then.
Yeah, that was a good intro.
I on my day jobs, I wake up at 3 a.m. And I can't stay up past 8 p.m. But on the Fridays, I get that espresso brewing. I got like 6 shots in the cup. And it's time to go, baby.
Well, thank you for that intro. That was truly awesome. Appreciate it.
Well, we thank you for just how much you've done. I mean, how much me and Gilly, we just cannot wait to just pick your brain and just hear some stories and just shoot the shit about a lot of stuff because we've got a lot of things in common here. So
yeah, let's do it.
Excellent.
So first and foremost, the TCM fan club, man, it would not be possible without Tim here. He laid one hell of a foundation for me to build a website off of. The information on his site, which is still up to this day, is just, without it, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So let's dig in here and say, I mean, without you and Rick Balin, which a lot of our viewers have heard about Rick many times, I have pretty much 90% of Rick's collection here. And digging through the web, came across Tim Harden and discovered more TCM information than I could ever imagine. And full circle, I was at a flea market, and this is what Tim was wondering here earlier. Small flea market here right outside Buffalo, New York. There's probably about 4 or 5 vendors, real small old school guys. They do a lot of football cards and stuff like that. And walking through there one day, and this guy's got a TCM poster and some Halloween stuff. And I go, hey, man, by chance, do you, have any other horror stuff? And he goes, oh, yeah, I just bought this collection. This guy passed away and his nephew was selling everything on Facebook, and I went and picked everything up, and he's like, I'll bring it in for you and you can check it out. And I wasn't sure what I was going to get into there, and here I am 2 years later, man, with more TCM stuff than I could ever imagine in my life. 30 Gunner autographs. I mean, everything's signed by Gunner from this guy. There's DVDs of just not even Texas Chainsaw DVDs. They're signed by Gunner. Like everything is signed by Gunner. And at this flea market, he had these little footage tapes, man. And I picked them up and brought them home and bought all the contraptions to hook the VCR up to the computer to record it with OBS. And I'm going through these tapes, and fucking Tim Harden pops up in one of the tapes, and I go, holy shit. Like, everything's full circle coming here. I'm like, this guy's got all the info. This Balin guy's got all the collection. So the story, Tim, behind that is I never, unfortunately, got to meet Rick. I was going through the stuff at the flea market, and I noticed a script there, and it had like an outer cover on it, and it had Rick Balin on it, his address, information, phone number, stuff like that. And did some digging, came across your website, noticed you had a couple articles and photos and stuff of Rick Balin, which blew my mind. And I go, wow, this guy was a big collector, stuff like that. And did some digging. I found his nephew. reached out to his nephew, and he owns a warehouse about 30 minutes away from me. And he said, "Yeah, I got some of my uncle's stuff still here I didn't sell." And I walk in, and the first thing I see is a full life-size chop top bust in a wheelchair. And I go, "What the fuck is, what is this?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm never gonna sell that." He takes me in the back room, man, and he's got, the Italian posters and, all the rare, crazy stuff. The stuff that wasn't at the flea market. So
Right.
over the next, I'd say, year and a half, I'd go to the flea market every Saturday, bring probably $500. The guy there, his name's Randy. I call him One Leg Randy. He's got one leg, nothing against him. I love the dude to death. But I just slowly started chipping away and going through Rick's collection, and I find like lobby cards and, the Gunner autograph envelope that's got all the cast on it,
Yep.
and, a authentic rock that you told me that, Rick helped Gunner come up with the idea to go get pieces of the, and
That was my idea, actually.
oh, yeah, it was your idea. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I got a piece of it here, so that's sitting here, and tons of other stuff, man. Like I said, just autographs on autographs on autographs, and yeah, never got to meet Rick. I don't believe I would have ever dove this deep into the TCM world if it wasn't for stumbling on this and stumbling on your
Yeah.
website.
Yeah. Let me tell you some about Rick, because Chainsaw fans need to know about him. First of all, super nice guy. Him and his wife Dottie were, well, primarily he was a super fan, right? He
Yeah.
was a fanboy, and he contacted me like in the not soon after I first created my website at texaschainsawmassacre.net, and we corresponded, up until he passed away. Um, Him and his wife came to Austin, where I live. In fact, I just live 5 miles down the road from where the original house used to be. That's just a pure coincidence.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, they came down. This is, geez, several years ago, more than 10 years ago. But took him for some barbecue, and I forgot what else we did. But yeah, had a great time. Now, when the Texas Chainsaw release came out in the steel jacket, and I'm looking at my shelf right now. Um, that was Dark Sky. Um,
Okay.
so Dark Sky contacted me and said that they're putting together the steel jacket package. They're, compiling some documentaries and stuff on it, and they asked if I had stuff to contribute to it, like they want stills, they want one of that photo gallery. And I
Wow.
said, sure, I've got stuff. Well, I turned around and contacted Rick, and I said, Rick, Dark Skies contacted me because they want a photo gallery. We could have the most kick-ass photo gallery available
Yeah.
anywhere if you don't mind uh shipping your materials to me, just the posters, whatever else will fit in a FedEx tube. And I I respect his answer. He said no, because
Rick.
he did not want to risk it no matter what.
Sure.
There's not a there there's not a dollar value that he could put on it for insurance.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
and he and I tried my best to convince him, but it's
Yeah.
fine. So the photo gallery on that particular release is what it is. I pulled out all that I had for it. And then another facet to the Rick story is that he told me several times that he didn't know what to do with his collection if he ever passed away. He didn't have kids, and he says, I'm going to put you in my will, so when I do, this stuff gets to you, because I know that you'll take super duper good care of it.
Wow.
And of course, course, when you talk about that stuff, that's like, way off in the distance, and you don't really take it too seriously. And
No.
unfortunately, some years after we corresponded like that, he did pass away, and um, I could not get a hold of his nephew. I tried to through Facebook and got no response. So I spent a lot of time and imagining in my head all of those rare posters. I'm I'm 100% convinced that nowhere in the world was there a more comprehensive collection of authentic, original chainsaw posters from around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and all these other memorabilia, ephemera, as the collection that Rick had. And so I just, when I heard that his nephew was doing something with it, I've never heard of his nephew, didn't never met him. I just knew it was his nephew. And in my
Right.
mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know if his nephew knows what he has. And I just imagined his nephew getting a dumpster and
Oh
just
God.
clearing out, his house
Yeah,
and
man.
saying and just treating it like worthless comic books or something,
Right.
just throwing them away. And it just, but they didn't know what happened to the stuff, and so I lived with that knot in my stomach, for years,
Yeah.
until I found out recently that it showed up in a flea market. Someone was had recognized what it was, had the funds to take care of it. And so what I'm saying is, I thank you, that you're at the right place at the right time, and that you saved all that stuff, because I mean, the stuff is worth,
Oh,
thousands of dollars. That and so yeah, I'm just telling you thank you for
no, it's, you know,
stepping up at that.
it's a blessing, man. And you know, I think the same thing, right? Because um so this one bothers me a little bit. I won't go too much in detail, but somebody did get to his nephew before I did. And I think I messaged you before about that. But
Yeah.
he promised him to display all Rick's stuff in a museum, and a lot of the big posters that you're referencing, unfortunately, and they just got sold. And I'm sure they're in great hands with
Well,
whatever
yeah,
collector may
yeah.
have them.
As long as somebody's got them, and someone
Absolutely.
just you know, didn't see the worth in them and threw them away. So
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it took a while. I asked his nephew many times, and threw out some pretty high numbers for that, chop top bust back there. The life size, because he was in all the videos with it, and never seen anything like it, man. And no, no, he turned me down. And when I told him Bill and Caroline were going to be at a convention, he goes, "You know what, man?" He goes, "I've seen the good you've done. I've seen your site. I gave him back Rick's photo album. I went and bought it from the flea market. He had Rick's whole album. I gave that to him, family photo, everything." And he goes, "You know what, man?" He goes, "I trust you." He goes, "I'm gonna let you take that with you to the convention." And that also was Rick's, the TCM2 standee back, yeah, right behind me there.
yeah, no,
That
that's
was,
awesome.
and that was in the warehouse, just sitting there. And I took it, got Caroline to sign it, Bill to sign it, and at this point, I've asked him 20 times, "Hey, can I come by and drop this stuff back off to you?" And so he's made, hold it for a little longer, maybe later. And I think he's finally happy that it's, in a home that actually can be seen and cared for instead of just sitting in a warehouse. You know what I mean?
So it's what we're on the same track there, because I had a very sizable chainsaw collection, as you can probably imagine.
absolutely.
Uh, uh, all kinds of eight by tens. Somewhere I've got an inventory of what I had.
Wow.
All kinds of um toys, um, original house parts. Um,
Wow.
I can't think of it right now, but there came a moment in time where I was looking at the stuff, and I thought, I've enjoyed this stuff for years now,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
and um, I think other people should get as much enjoyment from it than I have. Because if it sits here, it's just sitting here and not being, I'm not giving joy to other people.
Yeah.
Um, and
Absolutely.
and I similar story is that I'm a I'm a big fan of the Who. I play bass and have
Good
for
band.
yeah, yeah, many years, and so I had the opportunity to buy this extremely rare bass called a Status Graphite buzzard bass that John Entwistle designed. There's only a handful of them that were ever made till he
Really?
died. Yeah, till John Entwistle, the bassist, died. Once
Yep.
he died,
For that.
the value of them skyrocketed, and so I was out playing with it because I wanted to play it, you know. Where whereas other collectors would say, "Why are you out there playing it? You should, it should stay inside. It should, be well taken care of,
Yeah.
not getting worn out on the road." And I said, you know what? The bass was made to be played. It
That's
was
right.
made to be enjoyed. It wasn't made to sit there and just collect dust,
Never. No.
basically. And so I felt I felt the same way about my collection. I said, well, Phil Collins, drummer for Genesis,
Yep.
as you know,
Mm-hmm.
he was a big collector of stuff that has to do with the Alamo in San Antonio,
Okay.
and he collected a lot of stuff that was original, from guns and clothing and equipment and stuff. And he decided the same thing. It's like, I I've got all this stuff now, and I don't know if he donated his collection to, I think it's the uh, Daughters of the Alamo, or there's an Alamo association, but he donated or sold that stuff to them for the same reason. It's like I've enjoyed the stuff. It's now time for
Yeah.
others to and enjoy it as
I
well.
respect
And
that.
yeah, and so I sold my collection and decided to put my money into something that I would enjoy right now. So it was a win-win.
Sure.
Yeah, no. 100%. I mean, real quick here, a couple things that I have sitting here. So
Yeah. All
photo
right.
of Rick
So
and them
I
and
see Ed Neal. I see Gunner. Okay.
Maryland.
There's
Yep.
Jim.
Here's the
Yeah.
bust from many years ago. As you can tell, Bill
Oh,
Mosley's
nice.
real young there. Um, so a little bit of, oh, actually one last thing to see if do you have any info on this by chance? The beef
I
stick?
do.
'Cause I
Yes.
can't find nothing on it
Uh,
anywhere,
put 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 it back on the screen, please. Um,
So
I'm trying to
back on it
remember.
too. That helps at all.
Trying to remember where that came from.
I've
Says
been trying to get him
Dallas.
to
It
eat the
says
damn thing for like 8 months
Oh my
now, and he's just
God.
not
it
biting
says
on it.
2001 Irving Boulevard, Dallas, Texas. Dr. Blood's haunted house at Screamscapes, 201 East Grayson, San Antonio,
Okay.
Texas. It says on the back.
Shout out to
Okay.
Dr. Blood.
Okay. So I did have one of those at one time. I was wondering if maybe one of the cast members did that, but actually Alan Danziger sold some beef jerky for a while too.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
that's what
sure.
I heard is that Alan always had
Yeah.
him at his booths too, but I think it was a different one than that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen nothing on that, and yeah, I don't know. I bought it, like I said, at the flea market there. It says to Rick. Rick had a very vast collection, man, from flyers to paperwork to posters, figures. I mean, you name it, and it was always rare stuff and signed to the absolute max, and all the footage that I have of them at the conventions. And it's funny because I don't know when the last time you've been to a convention, Tim, but I watched a video of Rick's, and it was 4 autographs from Gunner for $20. And I go, wow. I go, autographs these days are 60, 80 a pop, if not more from
Yeah.
certain people. So times have definitely changed. I got one more quick one for you on my end. I obviously got more, but I'm gonna let Stony get involved here. So I'm looking at the TCM Fan Club website, the one I threw together with a lot of your photos and all that stuff, and I see a picture of you here. Lots of photos, but it's you, Gunner, and Paul, and
Yeah.
sitting at a table there. He's signing some posters. You guys are smoking
Yeah.
cigars later on, or what, like, how did you get so involved, with the TCM movement community, man, that you were sitting there? And that's why, for those of you listening, I really appreciate you coming on here, man, because you are the last of, the originals that had the face-to-face encounter and talks. And, you've been all at every filming location there ever was. You documented it all. You did tours, right? I know you did tours, and
Yeah. I still do them once in
um
a while.
well, me and Stoney will see you next month. um but yeah, what's the story behind that, with the picture with you, Paul? Who else was there?
Yeah. So it was my wife Sherry, and it
Yeah,
was
Sherry. Yep.
Gunnar and Paul. That's a funny story. Uh, I I had been acquainted with Gunnar for some time. What happened was Gunnar had been living in Maine for many years. His mother still lived in Austin, and Gunnar moved temporarily from Maine to Austin for a period of time, to take care of his mother because she was sick. Um, and that's when he and I bonded. Just a quick story is that I'm still a fanboy, always will be.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I had met Gunnar at a appearance of his in San Antonio. Um, there's a picture of that on my website somewhere. He's strangling me, of course, that's his thing. But so but but we been corresponding through email. So he moves to Austin, then he drops me a line and says, "Hey, why don't we do lunch?" And I'm like, "Are you?" I didn't tell him. He sent me an email, but I was like, "Are you effing kidding me?"
Yeah, right.
Leatherface
Shit.
wants to have lunch with me,
Wow.
and I said, "Of course." And so we go to this hole in the wall Mexican restaurant that he liked in Austin, and I wanted my wife to go with me, because my wife is really good at being a conversationalist.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go there. And have y'all seen that sketch, that Saturday Night Live sketch where Chris Farley is sitting next to Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
I have.
And
Exactly.
he goes,
Do you remember
do
that?
you remember that time where you
Yeah.
did this and that? And
That was cool.
Paul's like, yeah, I do. I imagined that I was the Chris Farley of this, right? That I was gonna, and I didn't want to be that, because I knew that there's thousands of fanboys and fangirls out there, uh, I knew that I wanted to connect with him at a more personal level and talk about stuff beyond chainsaw. And I knew that if I sat there, I'd be staring across the table, going, drool. So so that's why I got my wife involved. She she likes the movies. Of course, not a big as fan as I am, but so bringing her in, I I I give her credit for talking about other stuff like family, about
Yeah.
Yeah.
his history of when he was going to school, and about what what's he writing about these days, and all this other stuff that didn't have to do with chainsaw. That's where we made some connections. But anyway, going back to the Paul thing. So um Paul also lived in near Austin. He lived off of Lakeway. Um, he had a house that was kind of like on a side of a hill. So like he had a house, but then he had a back deck that was on stilts that overlooked Lake Lake uh, Lake Travis, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so so Gunner contacts me and says, "Hey, would you and Sherry like to go to Paul's house and have dinner on such and such night?" Now,
Wow.
let me put some context here, because I had never met Paul
Yeah.
at that time, and the only thing that I knew was listening to the commentary track of which releases that I'm looking at my shelf. I think it's a Pioneer, and
Yeah.
maybe they've just kept that uh uh track, uh where they talk about the movies. I forget while it's playing. I forgot
Yeah.
what it's called. But during that track where Gunner's talking about the movie while it's playing on the DVD, um he told some stuff about Paul that to me didn't come across as very flattering. Like Paul was annoying. No one wanted to be around him.
Wow.
Which we all knew, because
That's why
he
they
was
cast him.
yeah. But we know that he was just. It's been said many times he was trying to stay in character, and then once the movie was done, uh, everyone realized that, well, Paul's a nice guy. But
Mm,
I don't think Gunner, from what I recall in that track, um, said what happened afterwards, which is that they became friends and stuff, and that persona was gone.
sure.
So when Gunner contacts me and says, would you like to have dinner with Paul? I'm thinking, I didn't think that Gunner liked Paul. What's going on?
Sure.
What am
Yeah.
I getting into here? What am I supposed to expect here?
Yeah,
Because
you go to like a Jerry Springer dinner luncheon.
exactly, exactly. And so I have my chainsaw poster, which by the way was given to me by Alan Danziger. He had that original poster in his attic for
Wow.
many years,
Cool.
Wow.
and it's a different story, but that poster was signed by Ed Neal. I don't know if it was like in the 70s or 80s, but it was in ballpoint
Wow.
pen. And so I had a professionally framed, brought it to Paul's, and he signed that and other stuff, and he was just as friendly as could be. We had a great time.
Nice.
He Paul made dinner. We had um pasta al dente of some sort in a sauce that he made.
Wow.
He busted out the wine during the dinner, and after we sat on his back deck, which is where the table was. And it was a gorgeous night, overlooking Lake Travis,
Oh God,
and
that's cool.
yeah,
Unreal.
and uh, then he busted out cigars, and so yeah, there conversation, of course, chainsaw is always a touching stone once in a while during the conversations, but there's also other stuff to talk about.
Sure.
Th- th- this is back when I used to drink. I quit drinking like about 10 years ago, but so between dinner and the wine and the brandy afterwards, I have to rely on my wife to remember. But plus, it was a long time ago. But a funny facet to the story is that we're all chatting just like you saw in the picture, and I had to use the restroom. So I get up and use the restroom, and unbeknownst to me, my wife tells me this while I was away. Franklin did his famous Sally.
Holy shit!
I
Wow.
I don't remember why he did it,
Yeah.
but Sherry told me that he did it, and I missed it, but we had a great time, and so that's the context behind that
Unreal.
that
I
that picture. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it, man. Because like, just in general, I mean, you're in the photo here with Gunner, Lou, Wayne, and Tim, and
That was at my house.
that was like, holy
Yeah,
shit, man.
yeah.
This guy's
So yeah. Cool story behind that. See the the thing back then before the internet exploded. Um, Cast members had lost contact with each other as the years went on, right?
Mm.
Terry McMahon did not want to be associated because she was really trying to do her own life, her own business, her own thing,
Sure.
and everybody was just in different directions by then. This is 1995, maybe. I forgot when. But my wife suggested that that we get some of these people together that live locally. So I said, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." We at that house, we rented that house, had a back deck. Um, got a ton of Shiner beer. Um, Invited Lou. He showed up. Invited. Sorry, the sound got. Ted Nicolau showed up. Gunner showed up, and I tell you what, I wish I had a tape recorder going at that time.
Oh yeah.
With
Unreal.
with the conversations that were talked about. But at the same time, I didn't do that because uh I wanted to keep it as a friends thing,
Yeah.
as just a intimate circle. We're just the one, two, three, four, five of us are just having a good time,
Yeah.
enjoying the night. My wife makes excellent Mexican food, and I'm pretty certain that we had enchiladas. Gunnar was a huge fan of my wife's Mexican food. So quite often we made enchiladas.
Wow.
My wife also made cookies for Gunnar. In fact, we used to send out a, a box of cookies to the cast every Christmas.
Wow.
But yeah, that night was special because we just sat around again. Chainsaw during the conversation as a touchstone, coming back to it, then talk about the other things. And at the time, I only knew Lou Perryman as a guy who worked on the film. I didn't I at that time I did know that he was in a great film called, I think it's called, A Shooting Match. Um, um, that was filmed in Austin. I didn't know that he was in the Blues Brothers movie.
Really?
Had Yeah. He
Holy
played a
shit.
bar patron. Remember the scene where in that country bar, the
Yeah.
lady behind the bar says, "We have both kinds of music, country and western."
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it's at that same bar. There's a probably if you blink 4 times, you'll miss it. Not
Okay.
once, but four
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Lou is sitting there with somebody else, and they made just some sort of a comment. So I think he has like 2 seconds
Hey.
in there, but he's wearing just a baseball cap of some kind. Or, of course, he was in Poltergeist too, right?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not know that. Okay.
Yeah. If you remember in Poltergeist, they're having their swimming pool worked on in their backyard,
Yeah.
and Lou's character is one of the guys that's maintenance guys that's working on the pool, and he sticks his head in the window and says something, and that's it. So I didn't know all this stuff when we had that dinner, and I would wish I had known it. But yeah, that's where all that came. That's where those pictures came from.
Unreal. Stony, so my next thing here is going to lead into you, and then obviously, take it off from there, buddy. So, just want you to know, Tim, that I will, with Rick's collection, man, I will never sell anything. It'll never have a value on it. But my very, very close friends in this community, including Stony here, I was grateful enough to come up on a couple Bob Burns autograph photos from Rick's collection,
Yeah.
which I sent one to Stony. And if you ever would like a piece of Rick's, collection, man, I'd love to send you something out. No questions asked.
Thanks. It's all right. I really appreciate that. That
Absolutely.
means a lot. I would just assume that other people uh, enjoy that stuff.
No,
Because
it is.
I'm not saying that I've had my fill of it. I'll always enjoy it if I see it, but 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 I think other fans who have not had the fortune uh, that we have of having something like that, or getting to see something like that, it needs to be passed on to those people, I think.
I like that. Well, it's in good hands for now until, me and Stony pass ours on to whoever's next. I don't know if Stony has that picture on hand over there somewhere in his big collection, but
She's hanging up over there.
she's hanging.
Yeah.
It's a good photo, but yeah, go ahead, Stony. I just figured
It's a good picture. You can pay me now.
Yeah.
No, it's one of Bob's. I got the footage of him signing it. Actually, it was one of Rick's. It's got the 3 mask.
Yes.
I'll send you a photo. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But
Yeah. And the guy who owns them is David Munoz, who lives
yes,
just about 3 hours north of me.
yep. So we're
And
yeah,
yeah.
David. Yep. Talked to David a couple times. Our good buddy Quinn, who makes mask, actually just purchased something from him, and then Sean Clark, who I'm pretty good friends with as well. I know he just purchased a majority of David's collection. So
Really?
he did. He purchased the what did he get, Stoney? He got the mask. He got the
Wait. He got all 3 masks?
No, I think he's just got the.
He's got the. What's he have? He got one of the masks. He did a video on it. I'll have to find it and send it over your way to check it out. But he went over there and took care of David handsomely, I assume, and Sean Clark's a big collector, so it should be preserved.
Did you ever
well.
see that? Once again, I'm looking at my DVD shelf, but Sean Clark came down here years ago and did a Horrors Hollow Grounds on the chainsaw.
I didn't. Did I see that one? I don't think so. I seen the one where he shows off all his chainsaws from the second, third film and his collection. I don't think I've seen that though. No.
Yeah. We that was a long time ago. Uh, I I I took him to some film locations, and
Did you?
we
Oh, no.
we we went to the house. Yeah.
Wow. Stony, go ahead and I know you got a lot in your mind there to ask him. Feel free to chip away, man, and I'm
Oh,
curious about the
appreciate it. Thanks,
locations.
Gilly. Hey,
Hey,
we got
man.
Grim's in the chat too, man. So Mr. Quinn Nemo, he is Grim Grinner Studios. This cat is a young buck that exploded on the TCM scene as a mask maker. He went from zero to top shelf, like unbelievable quality, beautiful masks right off the bat. And this dude is just killing it. And he's made full size grandma that's actually sitting in Hooper's restaurant right now.
Oh, he made that.
That's him,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
And
I was wondering where that came from.
the dude's
Okay.
not even 18 years old yet.
Yeah.
I
He's,
mean,
Wow.
it's wild the career that he's already cut out for himself, and he's already almost he's now going to be quitting and not making anything anymore as he goes into he's going to go to college and he's going to pursue some filmmaking and stuff like that.
That's
So
great.
you know, I really appreciate something like that for a person that can be really at the top of his game right at that moment, and then all of a sudden just done. You know, it's not he's not riding it out for the money. He's not, you know, he's just go, hey, I like doing this, but now I'm gonna do this. And it's just so for anybody, you know, that's watching that really appreciates his stuff, I can't tell you enough. Get some commissions from him right now. He just
yeah.
unveiled the newest one, which he's doing the old lady mask, the grandma mask. And I don't know how many of those ones he's doing, but he's using the old Bob Burns method with the fiberglass in there and everything like that. I mean, it's his attention to detail is out of this world. So again, Gilly's, you know, not Gilly, I see you in the chat, but Grim's in there, man. He's a hell of a guy. And he also wanted to say to you too, Gilly, or he said he hopes Tim's doing well. Sorry he missed Brett's call earlier, but family stuff's going on. So no worries,
problem, man.
And then we got Jonathan Watkins in the chat too. And this guy is the Macabre Miniatures dude. This guy is another fucking cool artist that's making these beautiful 1/6 scale diorama pieces from the OG movie. And he is another dude that's just killing it on the scene too. So we got a really good community of people that like to hang out and support the show and stuff. And you know, not only are we having, you know, guests, you know, it's predominantly Chainsaw if anybody's ever noticed, but it's not just that. But we do definitely support a lot of artists, and you know, and everybody else that wants to come through, mask makers and whatever it is. It's really appreciative for us as collectors just to get to meet and get to know the people that are contributing to this collecting universe. That's not just your standard figure that's been made in production of 100,000 that everybody else has. It's like these custom one-off, you know, it's so appreciative because when I look around in this collection here, it's like, you know, I've got the figures, I've got those masks and stuff, but what really makes it so unique is just the history where you can look at that piece and go, this is who I got it from. There's only this one made or a couple, you know, there's stories to it. And that's just so much more, more meaningful. So
you're right. Because some fans did send me masks that they personally made.
Sure.
And those were quite possibly my favorite pieces that I had, because they did it out of the love of the movie and out of their own hard work and their own skill, their own hands.
Absolutely.
And I really valued those a whole lot. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know, and just to see those artists and that can just take and do different interpretations of it is always my favorite too. Where it's just like, you know, I mean, there's a love for screen accuracy and you know and as you know, but just to take in a whole different take on it because it's just what they want to make. And I've got some weird shit, you know, and and they're some of my more favorite pieces, you know, and it's absolutely cool. And I got to say, as a collector, for like you're saying, you sold your collection and not, you know, there's a lot of people that are too stubborn and they go, oh my God, I can never get rid of that. But there is a point, people, that once you do collect and you've got all this stuff and the honeymoon period, it wears off and you go, you know what? I now know that I owned it and it's okay if I let it go because it's going to be, you know, like I've said it before, my 100 gunner autos, well, some of them I can let go, and that's going to be somebody's first gunner auto they've ever had, and they're going to hold that one near and dear. Where I still have, you know, some of the more crazier, you know, ones that I, you know. So it's just like, you know, it really is like a community aspect, but it's also just
is.
really
Yeah.
fueling the collecting passion in people. And I tell you, that auto that you let go to that person where it's their first one, that means the world to them. And they're gonna always forget that. Man, I got that from this guy. And I
So
love
hold
that,
on. So
man.
speaking of the Bob Burns, right? So Quinn here, he's a diehard Bob Burns fan. He was able to purchase, I believe it was a lamp, Stony. It was a lamp
Yes.
from David, and he sent a piece of the lamp to me and to Stony here. One of Bob Burns'
Wow.
original. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I have mine, in here, and he even made me a necklace out of a piece of the toe of off that lamp. What's your story with Bob Burns? I know you definitely, talked and you know, uh, I actually learned of Bob's beginning and end from your website, and I know, uh, DVD went out to a few close friends of his. I know you were one of them, and I'm sure Quinn would love to hear, something about Bob from some of
Yeah.
his,
So the whole thing about Bob, um, it it started off kind of funny. Um, I'm at home one day. This is 99, 2000 maybe, and I don't know how Bob found out about me. I can only think it was Gunner.
yeah.
But at that time my website was really making traction. It wasn't nearly as big as is now, but it was getting a lot of attention because there's nothing else out there like it. So
Oh, oh,
so I think Bob called me just out of the straight blue. Uh, the
wow.
phone rings one day. I didn't even have caller ID on the phone. It was just a regular phone. I pick it up and hello and he said, hey, this is Bob Burns, and I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
Bob, how are you?
Wow.
Wow, what's
So
going
cool.
on? And so we got to chatting. He was super nice. Um, we didn't talk for very long, but I had been trying to track down where the graveyard was for a very long time.
Oh, really?
I yeah, I had been going into Bastrop because I think Danziger told me that it was somewhere in or around Bastrop, and so
Wow.
this is when I hadn't found all the locations yet. Um, and so Graveyard was on the list of ones to find. So Danziger had told me it was in and around Bastrop, Texas, and so my wife and I made a few trips out to Bastrop, and we went to several cemeteries, and they all kind of look the same, but they don't. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's what 30 plus years on, and back then, and I got some photos of a cemetery that I thought was the cemetery, and I posted those pictures. Turned out it wasn't because I had this great phone call with Bob Burns, and I said
Oh, wow.
somewhere in that conversation, I said, "Well, Bob, do you remember where the cemetery is?" And he told me exactly where
Wow.
what it's called. He said it's called the Baghdad Cemetery. Um, Oh my God. Which that's in Leander, which is far northwest. Yeah, if you take Highway 180, yeah, take Highway 183 out of Austin that goes northwest. There's a road called Baghdad Road, I think, and there's Baghdad Cemetery.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, so my wife and I go out there, and sure enough, I mean, it looks exactly the way it did in the film.
Wow.
And when I do tours, when I take people out there who want to go out there, I always take them to the spots where shots were done.
Hmm.
I like taking them to that particular point um where where chainsaw opens and there's a corpse on the tombstone.
Oh yeah, right there, right?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And the
hell yeah.
tombstones behind it are, from what I can tell, pretty accurate. And so with that poster in mind that's behind you to your right, if you were standing there looking at those tombstones, and if you're actually at the cemetery with that perspective,
Yeah.
all that you had to do was pivot maybe 90 degrees, and then your vision can see the road where the van first pulls up
Wow.
to you visit the graveyard. Now if you remember that shot, the camera is in that position, but it's panning, it's following the van as it's driving down the road, right? And during that pan, you see some tombstones that are still there to this day in that cemetery. And one that you can see pretty predominantly is one with last name Pickle. And so I always show, if you put your sights over here and then pan this way, that's exactly the route that you see that the van took. And we we also go to the patch of grass where the drunk was and the storyteller was. But anyway, yeah, no one knew where the graveyard was publicly until I had that breakthrough, among other breakthroughs of finding locations. Now, Bob Burns did have a website, um,
Yep.
and um, I didn't know that he passed until I got a package from him, and he had a DVD called Still Chainsaw After all these years, and that phrase is a reference to a Paul Simon song, if you don't know that, which Paul Simon songs, it was Still Crazy After All These Years.
Mm.
Um, and so he also put in a note in that package, which was a quote that he put on his website. And the quote, were it wasn't a very long note. I think it's the same typed out note that other people got. But the quote that I remember him putting in there was, he says, and I quote, I don't know why people stay in the theater when they know how it's going to end. And I think that kind of sums up what 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 was going through Bob's mind.
Yeah.
Now, also, are you guys aware of a couple of guys that did a movie about him?
I don't
No, I'm
think
not.
so. No.
It's called Bob and Me, I think. Um,
Okay, I've heard of that.
okay.
Bob.
So Bob always self-proclaimed himself as um uh a authority on a particular actor, and the actor has very unusual facial features, and he was in movies back in the think the 30s, and I can't remember the actor's name. But so Bob had a love for this actor and who he was, his background, the movies that he did. And I'm gonna have to bring it up in a search here real quick, or y'all can. Just Google Bob Burns movie or something.
Let's
Um,
see.
and and when you find it, tell me who the actor was, because I forgot his name. Anyway, the people who made this film, um, it was about Bob Burns, and they're also comparing Bob's life and how it's sort of paralleled uh, with this actor's life.
Is it Rondo and Bob?
Thank you, Rondo and Bob. That's right.
Okay.
It's Rondo Hatton.
Yes.
If you do a search on Rondo Hatton, he was a unusual looking actor at the time, which is why he got parts
Oh wow.
for movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
So
yeah.
so the movie called uh sorry, Rondo and Bob, right?
Yep.
Right. Um talks about it shows dramatizes Bob's life, and then also dramatizes Rondo's life. And then they put in a part where like an imaginary conversation of Bob and Rondo on a bench, this park bench, talking to each other. And then it ends with them passing away. And so it's not a wide release movie, but it's worth a watch. And my my wife and I went to the screening of it in Austin when it got released several years ago. And met the filmmakers of that, and met some people
Wow.
who knew Bob personally. And that was a really, really cool thing. So yeah, that's my Bob story.
I appreciate it, man.
Beautiful.
Like you said.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, no, thank you. So Quinn that's watching, he also just said that if you're ever interested there, Tim, he would love to send you a mask on the house, just
Oh,
for your hat,
wow.
buddy. They just say, just so you know. So we'll gear off topic of hair here. So Toby, okay. Like I said, I talk to Tony, aka William, all the time. He's back and forth with his All American Massacre stuff. But we have a lot of late nights, long conversations about his father and growing up and being on, sets of Funhouse
that's
and
great.
and
Man, I wish I could. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll tell you one good story.
Yeah.
So Lou Perryman, Tony comes home, and I guess his dad, Toby, was always, obviously busy with work, and a lot of guests or celebrities would come and stay at Toby's house. And he said he came home one day, and Lou was there, and he didn't know who it was, and his dad wasn't there, and Lou told him to go do the dishes or something, and William told him no, and Lou punched him in the face. And old school, And
Oh
Tony,
my
I think, was
God.
like 16, 18 or something, young, and he said Lou punched me square in the face, man. And but no,
Oh my God.
tons of great stories about Toby and stuff like that. Did you ever have? I know you were in a couple photos with him, whether they were at conventions or not. Did you ever get to have any good conversations with Toby? Or
I did. So the first time that I met Toby, he was in Austin, and he did a screening of Chainsaw, and Bob Burns was with him. And there's a picture on my website somewhere of Toby signing my poster. This is years
I got
ago.
it. I'm looking at it
Okay.
right now. Yep.
Okay. So there was that, and I think I was too shy at the time to really talk shop with him. Uh,
Yeah.
I think I wanted to be just the appreciative fan. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. I really appreciate it. Good luck. That's the kind of person that I am, even though I want to just geek out on him.
Oh,
But so then fast forward to now, several years ago. Um, do y'all remember when his film Eggshells got released
yeah.
officially?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't
Okay.
alive, but I've read into it and
Well, I mean,
so
not when it came out in like
okay.
72, but when a studio picked it up and basically released it for him, sometime in the 2000s, it was probably like 8 years ago or
Okay, no, I didn't.
something like
Mm.
that. Yeah. So it got released, and the Austin Film Society did a showing. Okay, that's not where I met him. Toby was doing a screening of Eggshells at a theater. That's right. So this would have been
Wow.
the second time that I saw it, and Ted Nicklaus shows up. He comes walking. I said, "Hey Ted, how's it going?" Um, and so we go in and see it, and there's actually a video on YouTube somewhere, um, where he does a Q&A at after Eggshells. I was like probably I think I was in the front row, and I was the first person to shoot my hand up to ask a question. And my question for him was, after you did Eggshells and Chainsaw, did for all the things that you learned during those processes uh, of doing films, because you gain more experience. I said, what are some things that you learned while making Eggshells and Chainsaw that you carry with you through through the movies that you've done afterward? And and he turns and says, nothing.
Oh.
He says I try to approach uh filmmaking in a new way with with every movie that I
Wow.
do. That was basically his answer,
Holy
which I
shit.
thought was impressive.
Yeah.
So then I don't think I brought anything to sign. But he did line up for pictures and stuff, and I just waited to be last because I know that all these people are just dying to get pictures and stuff. And there's some pictures of us when I did finally meet him at that theater. I'm wearing a light blue collared shirt, and 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 I said, Mr. Hoopy, hi, my name is Tim Harden. I'm the webmaster for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.net, TCM Fanclub.com, and Texas Chainsaw Tour. Says, oh yeah, I've seen your sites. I love your sites. I've got those bookmarked.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, wow,
Wow.
thank you very much. And from then on, I don't remember too much else of what we talked about. But what's funny is that you'll see two sets of pictures on my site. One is where we're smiling, the proverbial smile, and
Yeah.
I think we had our hands around each other.
Yep.
But then Toby says we should do the Paris French pose for a picture. And and I said, what's that? And he says you just stand there and with no emotion just go. So it's like, okay. So we both turned to my wife who's got the camera, and that's what we did.
Holy shit. I just the memories, man. The history. It's just unbelievable, and I really appreciate you being here. I got one last question for you myself.
Yeah.
Same thing we've been discussing. How was your adventure with Jim? Did you ever have any sit downs with? I see
Yes.
you got some photos with him. And I know he was older at the time as well.
Great story with that. My wife and I wanted to go to New Orleans. Okay. And I knew that Jim lived in Houston, but I also knew that Marilyn also lived in Houston. And I had been in contact with Marilyn. Um,
Wow.
I forgot how I think I just looked her up in the phone book, and I looked up Jim in the phone book as well. They were both just listed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I came to my wife and said, would you mind if we just made a couple of stops on our way to New Orleans
Yeah.
to go from Austin to Houston and then to New Orleans? Sure. So so call Jim, gave me heads up, we're coming, brought a poster, met him and his wife Ruth, and they were just the absolute sweetest people you could ever ask for. Jim, we we sat at his couch. He had a coffee
Wow.
table. He signed my poster. But the best thing about that visit was that as you can probably see in those pictures, he loved to paint, and
Yeah.
he had several small canvases of his artwork just hanging around the house, and he took me on a tour of his paintings, and talked about each of them, and
Wow.
it
I'm looking at
was
it. June 15th, 2000.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Unreal.
that was great. And then we we went from there, and there's a cool story behind Marilyn also. I hadn't met her yet. This is my first time. Mar- Marilyn at the time was living in an apartment in Houston, and she had a job as an AT&T wireless sales rep.
Wow.
Really?
And yes,
Wow.
and just in one of those strip malls,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she told me where the store was. My wife and I go to the store, and it's like one of those stores where you walk in, and there's kind of like a circle of desks where representatives are sitting. You just
Yeah.
walk up to a representative, and like, get what you need. Well, she was behind one of those desks, and I said, "Hi, I'm Tim Harden. This is my wife Sherry." He says, "Oh, hi, great, great. I'm gonna go on a smoke break. Come on and join me."
Wow.
Okay. So we go out the back door. She lights up, and we start chatting. I had a poster with me. She was more than happy to sign it. And I forgot what we really chatted about. It was such a long time
Mm.
ago. But something that struck me was um, apparently they couldn't take very long breaks because they're salespeople, right? And I forgot how long we're out there chatting, and her manager steps out the back door, and he says, so it was female manager. She asked Marilyn, well, your break's about over.
Wow.
Marilyn says, oh, okay, no problem. I'll come back. And then, and then, um, we just promised each other we would catch up,
Yeah.
some other time. And Marilyn stamps out her cigarette on the ground. I hugged her, and then we went
Wow.
to New Orleans, and then from then on, Marilyn would um, call our house just to shoot the shit.
Wow. Unreal.
She'd say, "Hey, how are you doing? How's Sherry doing?" And just chat and stuff. I will say that 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 she liked, I think it was margaritas she was drinking. So
At a
it,
gal.
Hey.
it
Hey.
wasn't too often that that we could tell she was relaxing at home, you know,
Yeah.
and we'd have conversations for a long time, and then she she was even at that time taken back by uh how much people love her and love the film. She was humble in that regard, and so she and I kept up for a number of years, and 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 she would call me up and say, "Hey, do you think this is a good idea if I sell something, or someone's looking to buy clothes that I wore. What do you think is a good price? And
Wow.
someone wants my script. What do you think it's worth? And
Wow.
just stuff like that. And then um, when she passed away, uh, I found out about it because someone texted me. I was out playing poker somewhere, and
Yeah.
they texted me, and it absolutely took the wind out of me.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
felt lightheaded because it was so sudden.
Fuck.
I felt lightheaded. This is a friend of mine that had no idea, um, uh, whatever she had going on, caught up with her in her sleep, and that's a really shocking thing for all of us.
Yeah, man.
Then I got invited to um, uh, go to the Housecore Horror Film Festival and have a booth there. That that was a project of what's the lead singer of Pantera? I forgot his name again.
Phil Ensemble.
Thank you, Phil sang, and that happened not long after Marilyn passed away, and um, for some reason, we're like, wait, there's an audience. We're gathered in this tent to watch a movie because it's a film festival. Oh, I know. Um, Ed and some of the cast members were meandering their way to the tent to have a panel. That's
Mm,
what it was. People were waiting for the panel, and I couldn't help but talk about it. I said, to to this day, and this is what I said in the tent there. I said to this day, I still have Marilyn's number in my phone, and I've still got Paul's number in my phone, and I've still got Bob's number in my phone, and I just can't bring myself to delete those numbers,
right.
Oh,
and um anyway, I forgot. Well, yeah. So we were talking about Jim. I know another cool story about Jim. You've seen pictures of Rick Balin with the cast members, right?
yes,
Yes.
sir.
There's like a blue canopy.
Yep.
So right, okay. So that was a reunion in Houston. Um, and so Rick went, I went, my wife went, and that that was after my wife and I had met Jim and his wife Ruth at their house. So we meet up again at this event, and Jim's wife Ruth was in back of the tables, like in back of Jim, and she's back there. I think she was crocheting,
Wow.
just passing the time,
Sure.
while her husband's getting, pictures and autographs and stuff, and she's just crocheting. Or, just tell me when it's over. Well, my wife honed in on that, and she went and sat near Ruth, and just like for the rest of the evening just chatted with Ruth because
Wow.
no one was sitting with her talking,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and that was really super cool. Uh there's I've got memories like that that are just priceless,
Yeah.
but that's my Jim Cito stuff right there.
Well, I really appreciate it, Tim, and I hope it brings you some joy, man, to, relive these memories and talk to them
It does.
with us people that
Yeah,
appreciate it, man, and forever grateful for what you've done, for this community and like Rick Balin, all of you guys, man, and it's something I hope to keep on giving and rolling and just keep it going. So
well, so I had a few things on my side, right?
yeah,
There was no such thing as Google. That wasn't even a sparkle in someone's eye. The big search engine back then was an engine called Alta Vista,
Well,
and you remember that. And
I'm a computer guy, yeah, so I dig into.
yeah, I'm a cybersecurity and engineer, so I'm still
Wow, good.
doing that stuff. So back then I I knew how to put up a website, and I said I should get this registered on Alta Vista. And back then they indexed off of how many visits the page gets. That was
Mhm.
Okay.
their algorithm.
Yep.
So the internet blew up, the search engines blew up, and uh none of the chainsaw cast was like in touch with each other. They kind of drifted off, and I had the perseverance or the stubbornness to track down all these people. But that's because of the website visitors. They wanted some more. They wanted to know more about the locations because my site was originally just about Quick Hill. It was just
Okay.
about where the house was, and that was it. And then people said, "Where's the gas station? Where's the cemetery? Where's this and where's that and where's the cast today?" And uh, so I had a lot of time on my on my hands back then, and
Hey.
the enough energy back then to do all that. So the timing was right.
Sure.
It's phenomenal the amount of work that you've done, man. Like I said, without that
Thanks.
information, I would have nothing to roll off. My site's basically just a clone of yours with a different look to it. That's it.
It's
And
plagiarism at its best right there. So.
you know,
Well, I think its lesson in substance is way more important than flash. you
Sure.
know
yeah,
Oh,
so my website is so outdated, and I've been offered by other people to revamp it and make it more flashy and whatnot, and it's like,
no, yeah,
they're, my site's doing just fine the way it is. It's poke
absolutely, man.
as
well, and it's also preserved in like kind of like a time capsule of like the era of when it started. It's like,
It
no, this is
is.
how it looks because this is how it was back then, like
Yeah.
why give it a
yeah.
facelift? There's no point.
I started programming
Yeah.
at 9, 10 years old with Adobe Flash CS3, action
Oh
script and
yeah.
making little animations, and that's what the internet was, man. Everyone's
That's right.
website was Flash nav bars and Flash this, and I love. It took me way back, man. So I went to Wayback Machine and looked through your site and all the sub websites like Chop Tops Pizza or barbecue or
Oh my gosh.
just the shit made in Flash is unbelievable, man, and it's phenomenal. So, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm glad we're
Sure.
here, and I'm glad this is awesome, man. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on
Cool.
here, dude.
Cool.
Yeah,
I,
just being able to get like all you on here and the TCM cast and just these great insightful memories that we're able to now you know permanently put up on YouTube for just other chainsaw fans just to dig deeper into it all too. I mean, it's just like it's such a very valuable thing that we're kind of able to do here. And we're really
right.
grateful for
Right.
that.
Right. It and I think something that I've always personally looked for is 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 the candlelight but behind what you see.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
bringing some reality so that you can connect more with it. Like right now, my background is from a short film that a director made. The director's name is Panos Cosmatos. He did Mandy. I'm sure you've heard of Mandy.
Hmm.
Yep.
And but the movie he made before Mandy was a sci-fi movie that doesn't seem to get much love out there called Beyond the Black Rainbow. I'm
Never
a
heard of it.
huge, huge fan of that movie, and I highly recommend that you guys pick that up. What my point is that Beyond the Black Rainbow has the same mystique as Chainsaw does,
Hmm.
because that was done on kind of a sort of a shoestring budget with some unknowns. And the to me, the resulting art that came out of that movie, I think is so much greater than the sum of the money that was spent on it, the sum of the actors that were in it. It totally resonates with me, and that's what I call a cult film, where it did terrible at the box office, but the following that it has is really strong.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to track down all the actors, the
I
the film locations. It's my chainsaw. It's my next step beyond trying to dissect chainsaws is to dissect that movie. And I've talked to a few of the actors. I've talked to a few of the crew, and gotten a few behind the scenes pictures, and they just light me up like this, like Chainsaw did.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you found that spark again, man. You know, for
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I still have that spark, because it's even harder to find these guys. They live in
Yeah.
and they live in Canada. I
Oh,
can't go to the in Vancouver. I can't go to the film locations unless I
right.
fly out there. And a lot of these people have moved on, and Panos is a pretty private guy. And um in but yeah, the same fire that I have for Chainsaw is now pointed toward the movie. So I highly recommend seeing the movie. If Panos will recognize the huge plug that I'm doing for his movie, that would
I'm
be
gonna
great.
check it out. It's funny you said that, like, you know, you can't go to Vancouver, you know, you happen to just grow up in Texas and be around where that all happened. And, you know, I sit here and think, hey, what if I never went to that little flea market down the road that just happened to be out here, and Rick Ballen happened to be from, you know, out here, and it's unbelievable, man. Everything's full circle. It
Yeah.
really is.
It is. It's funny how this stuff happens, but at the same time, there's a lot of stories out there that where this stuff happens, and in a different situation, all that stuff is lost. You know,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this case, it was saved, and that all of his about all that valuable ephemera was saved, but there's also countless stories about how stuff like that got lost. And so that's why
And it,
it really warms my heart, to know that most of the stuff has been
Yeah.
picked up.
no.
Tim, did you ever know, just speaking of the kind of other super fans, did you ever meet Landon Lee? Do you know who
No,
he is?
no.
Okay.
I've heard the name, and I'm pretty certain we've swapped emails.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was another just a massive collector, and I mean, just consumed his life, type of thing. And he
I did
passed
see his
away.
emails.
Yeah, and his when he passed away, his estate basically, came up for sale, and I can't pinpoint the year of this was. It was probably 2018ish or so. But a lot of my friends that are online horror auctioneers, they were kind of contacted by his wife saying, "Hey, we don't know what to do with this, but we know that there's a lot of sentimental, a lot of value, and we don't want this just to go somewhere." And so his collection got purchased, and then they would trickle throughout auctions and stuff. And I was just kind of curious, because it was always like when the auctioneer goes, "All right, up next is from the Landon Lee collection," everybody would go, "Okay, what's this gonna be?" And if you watch the
Wow.
intro to the podcast, I bought through my auctioneer buddy Eric Crimmins this chainsaw, and it's an old antique monster of a chainsaw, and I've got I think I'm at 21 or 22 autographs on there of just cast members throughout the TCM universe on there. But on the front of the bar, in like a big John Hancock style, is Gunner's Auto, just to really set the
Yeah.
tone of everything around it. But yeah, again, we just talk about just things like that falling into the right hands of somebody that's just I'm gonna protect that for the rest of my life, and
Yes.
so
Yeah.
but if you ever do change your mind and you want to take Gilly to court, because that will is a legal binding contract, and it technically So this is all the
Shit.
information and proof we need. So
Yeah.
you let me know.
No,
we'll give it
that-
all.
I appreciate that, and I very happily decline doing that, because again, I think this stuff needs to be enjoyed by as many people as possible.
And that's why you're the man.
Absolutely,
And
man.
we just,
Yeah.
again, we really appreciate it. I know we're rolling up on the end of our time here with you too. So any last thoughts from you, Gilly, while we've got him here?
Would love to have you on another time, Tim,
Yes.
in the future for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, let's do this. It's been fun. It's been a long time since I've kind of walked down memory lane,
Sweet.
and I
Glad you
like
enjoyed it.
I like sharing these stories because I want others to know these things. We all have a inherent desire to get to know people beyond just the work of art that they did.
Yep.
You know, because behind all these, famous people, I don't care if it's, Taylor Swift or Barack Obama or whoever, every celebrity is a human being.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like us. They have a finite amount of time on the earth. They breathe the same air as we do. And so there's always a real person behind that. And for I guess any advice that I'd like to give out, because people ask me just kind of like you guys did, how did you get to know these people? Well, my advice is to treat them like a human being, treat them like a person. Um, when you go to a convention and get an autograph or something, yeah, of course, like whenever I see like Juliette Lewis at a convention, my mind always goes back to her in Natural Born Killers as that character. But but if I saw her in person, it means a whole lot more if you say, "Hi, how are you? Thank you for your time."
Yeah.
Yep.
If they're not so busy, ask them some peripheral questions, that would interest them and show that you're not just a fanboy or a fangirl. And that's what got me in with Gunner. And because I got in with Gunner, the rest of the cast, to Gunner's word, said, okay, this guy's not a crazy fan. He's a nice guy, and helps us out with promotional stuff and whatnot, but treats him like a human being. So
absolutely.
So that's my word of wisdom for anyone when it comes to trying to get to know the person. Be a human being.
Well, I'm glad you were able to build a relationship, man, with them beyond Chainsaw, and that speaks loudly. So
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. This is probably one of the most fun one of these that I've done, and I appreciate you guys looking me up. And yeah, let's do a part 2 at some time. So,
I
absolutely
would love it, brother. That would be so great. And we'll end on the words. Grim is in here again. He says, "My philosophy exactly. They are just people, and when you treat them like people, you get to really know them." Say it all the time.
That's right. That's right.
The wonderful Tim Harden, everybody, the original TCM super fan, and just overall amazing dude. So thank you again for being on. Look forward to it next time. Everybody, have a good evening.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
In the vast expanse where the cosmos sighs, drifts an ancient tale as old as the skies. A figure from stories now mythified, Space Corps goes orbiting by. He once roamed planets, oh far and wide, but now he floats where the starships fly. No more breath in his chest, yet can't be denied the space cadet who died. Oh, oh, space corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. No anchor to worlds, just space to bide. Gliding through stardust, no need to hide. This wanderer who never cried. In weightless silence where time collides, he drifts in dreams so amplified. Mysterious tales on mystic rides. Space corpse haunts so dignified. Oh, oh, space corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. A spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by.